Today, students, we will begin a new chapter in your Flamingo book. It is lesson 2, Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood, written by Anees Jung. Who was Anees Jung? Let us know a little about the author. Anees Jung was born in 1944 in Rourkela. She is an Indian author, journalist and columnist for major newspapers in India and abroad also. She belongs to a family of aristocratic poets. She is noted for her lively and vivid descriptions in her writings. Anees Jung wrote the very famous Unveiling India. It is a travel diary focusing on the interview with women and depicting the condition and lives of women in India, especially the Muslim women. Here in this story, Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood, Anees Jung has described the pitiable condition of the poor children who live in misery and poverty, and they are victims of socio-economic system of the society, how they are being exploited by the prevailing socio-economic culture in the society. They are not provided any education and they are forced to work and earn a living for their family. Their life is moved on the path of child labor. No scope is there, no hope is there in their lives. So the very appropriate title is given to the story, that is Lost Spring. As we know that spring is a season which symbolizes happiness and hope. But here in the lives of these children there is no spring, it is lost. In this story, which is divided into two parts, the story talks about the lives of two protagonists in the story. One is a rag picker, Sahib-e-Alam, whose family has migrated from Dhaka, and the other is Mukesh, who belongs to a bangle maker family. The first part of the story titles Sometimes I Find a Rupee in the Garbage. The statement is referred to Sahib, the rag picker, who feels it a big achievement when he finds 1 rupee coin in the pile of dirt. The statement itself refers to the utter poverty that is crushing the lives of these slum dwellers. Why do you do this? I ask Sahib, whom I encounter every morning, scrounging for gold in the garbage dumps of my neighborhood. The writer goes for a walk every day and she happens to see this boy, Sahib, scrounging for gold. Means searching for something very valuable in the garbage. And here valuable can be a 1 rupee coin or anything, any petty thing which could be of their use. The metaphor gold is used here for anything useful that can be utilized by these children. So here Sahib starts his morning by searching for any such type of thing in the garbage. And it has been a long time since Sahib has left his hometown in Dhaka, perhaps when he was only a child, because not even a glimpse or a slightest memory is still remaining there in his mind about his hometown. There were many storms that swept away their fields and homes. His mother tells him that's why they left looking for gold in the big city where he now lives. So, the reason why Sahib's family had left Dhaka was because of a number of storms that had destroyed their homes and fields, and they had to migrate to India in search of gold. Again, a metaphor used here could be in search of food, shelter, clothes, any petty job for the elders, and for children it could be anything useful for their requirement, for their needs. So here again we can see a metaphor. Gold is used for some good opportunity that they could avail in the big city of India. I have nothing else to do, he mutters, looking away. When the writer had put up this question, why do you do this? What possible reply could be given by a rag picker who has no hope in future, no education, no good life? So very softly he spoke, in a low voice he spoke, avoiding her question, as if to say what else could he do? He was left with no other choice but to do this work. Go to school, I say glibly, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must sound. We people have this habit, children, or a tendency to give advice, suggestions to people. So same here was done by the writer also. She very confidently said this, go to school. Glibly here means giving a confident statement but without honesty. She knew that her statement is very hollow, very meaningless. There is no school in my neighborhood. When they build one, I will go. If I start a school, will you come? I ask, half joking. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. A few days later, I see him running up to me. Is your school ready? It takes longer to build a school, I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Here we see that Sahib wishes to go to school to receive education. So, on the idea of the writers opening her new school gave a spark in his eyes. And next, when he met her, he immediately asked this question, that was her school ready? He has not forgotten the promise made by the writer. Anis Jung felt very embarrassed at making such a fake promise, though their bleak, dull world is full of such promises. His world was full of such words which never saw the light of the day.